All right, well, it is 7:32, so I think at this point I'd like to go ahead and get us started. I want to respect everyone's time this morning, especially since we do have an additional guest joining us this morning. So officially welcome everyone. My name is Sarah Hagee, and I am the Executive Director with the Electrical Association of Philadelphia. And joining me this morning are my colleagues. We've got Matt Dibert, our Program Manager. We have our presenter this morning from DeltaBreez, Rafael Betancourt, as well as Paul Miles from PICO. And before we get started, I would like to thank both Joseph E. Biden Corporation and DeltaBreez for their sponsorship of this morning's event. A few housekeeping items. If you've been here before, then you know the drill. You, of course, know that this is being recorded. We're going to send this out to people thereafter in case they were not able to attend the live event. In addition, of course, you cannot see yourself. Your cameras have been turned off, your mics have been muted, and that really just minimizes some of the distractions. However, you are welcome and encouraged to submit questions via the chat feature. All right. So with that, I am going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to kick it over to you, Paul, to give everyone this burning update from PICO. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you very much, Sarah. And welcome, everybody. Paul Miles here from PICO. I was sharing a little bit before the call got rolling. Doesn't seem that long ago, but 10 years, it flies by. I was spending quite a bit of time with you folks that were around back then, promoting this new crazy air conditioning cycling program. And at the time, it was a little counterintuitive. Some of you had seen or heard of these types of programs before. Others were like, why would anyone want to cycle their air conditioners on the hottest days of the year? It's just another one of those crazy PICO programs, but fine. Well, the importance of your constituency then, as it is now, was to inform and educate that you might be called to a customer's home and walk in to find a box, something foreign to you, mounted to their air conditioner. And let me see if I can pull up a picture of this for those of you that maybe weren't around. Can you see that okay? Okay. And this is what you were greeted with. PICO had installed a box on or near the AC condenser or on the side of the house, and those boxes remain to this day. Now, I won't get into how the boxes operate because today that's not important because they'll never operate again. But at that time, we were educating folks so that when they saw these things, they didn't rip them out of the wall or disconnect them. And B, we wanted folks to understand that when they saw them, they could in fact interact with us and we would explain if they were operating at all and operating properly. Now, what ended up happening is over the span of about 30 months, starting in 2011 up until 2012, we installed about 104,000 of these devices. Most of them, the device you're looking at with the weathered PICO decal there. And then down in the corner, there's a picture of a thermostat. There's about 1,200 of those out in small businesses. Now, I don't know how many of you interact with small businesses, but you could be called into a small business and you might see that thermostat down in the lower right-hand corner there. Businesses were thermostat controlled, residences, the switch that you see there. Now, I'm going to focus on the switch for a moment because over the years, we've had about, half of our customers drop out of the program. And part of that was by design. Part of it was just because there's a natural attrition rate to these things. But over that time, of those 50,000 or so people that dropped out, about 3,000 of those folks requested that we come back and remove these devices. The fact of the matter is we didn't build the program, design the program financially and otherwise to take these switches out. And we hope to not have to do so now. But there will be customers who are convinced that this device somehow may interfere with and or disrupt the operation of their air conditioning. What I wanted to share with this group, in case you encountered in the field, is that it does not. These things have been out there for a decade now. virtually all of them that are still or were in operation as of the end of the program. And they will continue to be there, and they're rather benign. Now, some of you may have actually encountered these, and I would think many of you have, if not all. And maybe in some cases, you've even replaced units and taken these things out with them, with the unit to recycling. And what I would suggest and share with you today is that that is actually a great thing to do going forward. There's no reason for this equipment to stay in place. If you, in fact, should replace a customer's unit, take the unit with you and on to recycling. There's nothing in that box, and I wish I had a picture of inside to show you, but what that is a circuit board. That's it. A smart set of logic in there and some electronics that basically work with the homeowner's thermostat to enable us to control the devices when in fact it was working. Now, again, it's not really appropriate or pertinent today, but for those of you that have this burning question, well, how did it work, Paul? Well, that's part of the reason why we're taking these things down, is that they work based on receiving a page from a paging company, which Pico doesn't own, but Pico rents space from. And I would ask any of you, those of you that have been around, maybe as long as me, there was a time where pagers were part of your tool belt. I mean, everywhere you went, you had a pager. You probably got 1,000 pages a day. But today, how many pagers are out there? How many of you use pagers? Well, I'm guessing 0, but that's a guess. There could be a couple. But the problem is the providers of these services are absolutely an endangered species. There's just almost no demand for paging services today. What there is there's some legacy demand out there for national security and other purposes. As you may be aware, municipalities and others are kind of slow to adapt. And so certain infrastructure still relies on receiving these kinds of paging directives, as did this program. But we're fearful that if our provider calls us up tomorrow and says, "Hey, I'm retiring, starting next year, you're on your own," we'd be forced in a bad way to cancel the program once we don't have the ability to communicate with them. And that sort of led us to where we are today. So we have newer and improved technologies out there that will be promoted in the coming years. But this program has served us well and served our customers well, and we're getting ready to, again, retire it. We are intending to leave the equipment in place. So, before I get into that, let me speak a little bit about thermostats, and then I certainly would entertain any questions that you may have. The thermostat is a little different in that thermostat, it's a great thermostat. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, except it's kind of one-dimensional. It's just 7-day programmable when it's not receiving signals from us. And that can go on and function for perpetuity. There's no battery in it unless it receives some type of a surge or electrical failure. It's a very durable piece. The problem is, and we do have about 75 or so of them still in reserve, and we'll continue to service customers all the way up until next spring. But we can't send a customer a thermostat. We can't send a contractor a thermostat and say, "Here, go install this," because all you'd get is a thermostat in a box. There's no literature. There's nothing to indicate. I mean, the people who built this for us have installed and maintained these programs for all of these years. And for whatever reasons, the thermostat itself, though it functions great and it is a fully cleared device, I mean, it's not something that was made in a garage. It was just no consumer literature provided with it. So it's kind of hard to flip it to somebody and say, here's how you install it and here's how you program it. The folks that do it for us today do it because they built it and they know what to do. So I'm in a little bit of a conundrum here on what I'm going to do with our non-residential, the business customers that have these over the coming 6 months or so. But stay tuned. The fact of the matter is with them, unlike the device on the residential house, we can't go out and remove the thermostat. It would have to be replaced with an alternate thermostat, a new thermostat. And, we certainly don't have the thermostat to do that. Although if a customer were to call us and say, hey, we have new thermostats, we'd like you to come out and install. I don't even know how we'll handle that, because then we get into sort of a liability issue. But that's for me to worry about, and not necessarily you folks. So anyway, I've rambled here for many minutes. I just want to thank again Sarah and the organization for allowing us to bring this to your attention, because a customer may call you on the phone and say, hey, Pico's getting out of the business, and I don't know, maybe you should come out and check out if this device is somehow hampering my equipment. I will tell you this, we do see it frequently where contractors do go out, and the first thing they do is say, well, there you go, you got this foreign thing on your install. And I would call Pico, because they probably are the ones that are causing your device to misbehave. That's not an accurate situation, especially at this stage in the game where these devices have been in place for a decade. We know that, and I think most folks in your line of work know that as well. But still, we have the occasional, well, I may have an opportunity to get some extra business here on Pico's shoulders. That they can take it, and if the customer buys it, then great. I would be very doubtful that anyone in this group would ever use those kind of tactics. But that said, and I didn't provide it, but I'm sure I can get it to Sarah. I can get my contact information. If any of you have additional questions around this that you would like to discuss later on, we do have, again, information posted to the EAP website that links to our FAQs, which is where this picture is originating as we speak. And again, like I say, I'll get back to Sarah and get my contact info. That was probably an oversight and omission. We should have provided that just in case any of you have any questions after today. So with that, I'll button it and entertain any questions or concerns folks may have.
Appreciate that. And certainly we'll be sending your information out to the group that's here, in addition to a formal e-blast that's going to be going out to all of our members tomorrow. So we appreciate that resource. And so at this point, before we move into our feature presentation, I'd like to entertain questions from the group. You're welcome to go ahead and pop those into the chat. Matt, our master facilitator.
Yeah, Paul, we do have one question. I have one of these switches on my AC. Should I remove it? And what shall I do with the device once I remove it?
So the feedback that we're going to provide to the install community is that it just should be recycled as e-waste, as you would, any other, thermostats are a little different. I mean, I guess there's still some of those that still contain mercury out there. I mean, those have to be handled differently, obviously. But really, it would be classified, I guess, as an electronic device, but there's nothing in there that's hazardous. There is no mercury. There is an electronic circuit board in that box. Other than that, it's a plastic box that can be recycled. We would just encourage e-recycling if available.
Thanks, Paul. That was the only question we had in chat, so definitely thank you for your update.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Oh, thank you so much. We'll be in touch. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right. Goodbye. All right. And so now we are going to start to transition into our feature presentation here. It is my pleasure to turn over the mic, so to speak, to Rafael Betancourt, who is going to talk today about indoor air quality solutions. Our presenter, Rafael, has been in the industry with 28 years of experience in the electrical distribution industry. So with that, Rafael, if you'd like to go ahead and share your screen, we can go ahead and get started. Thank you.
Thank you all very much for taking the time to meet with us this morning. Thank you for sharing your coffee time with us. And I'd like to just take a moment to thank the Gene Bibin and the Bibin Sales Association, and to introducing us to the Philadelphia Electrical Association and putting this together. So the subject is, of course, DeltaBreez. We are a bathroom fan manufacturer among our parent company, which I'll briefly go through. And of course, we'll have any questions and application and so forth going forward. So let me first show my screen. Okay, so hopefully you guys can all see that. Like I said, we'll just briefly introduce you into who Delta is so you can get a better feel for the size of the company and our commitment to the market in the United States. And then we'll go into obviously the quick view of the product line and the applications for it. So Delta Electronics is a 50-year-old company, $9 billion company. Chances are, actually, there's an 80% chance or above chance that, or percentage that your fans within your PC or power converters, air conditioning units, as long as they're DC motors, and of course, all of your fans inside of your car are provided by Delta. It's their, let's call it bread and butter business. It's what they've grew up building. And of course, that's what led them into introducing the DC motors into the bathroom fan industry. It is an Asian company. It has research and developments all over the United States and all over Europe. As you can see, it's quite extensive, the coverage and manufacturing locations. Their headquarters is out of California, Fremont, California, Silicon Valley, actually about a quarter of a mile away from the Tesla location. So it's a very, very impressive location filled with Delta products, and it's a net zero location. So if you're ever in Fremont, please let us know so we can take you through a tour. You can see that we have we do the elevators, Delta does the lighting, they do power management system, they do battery systems for data centers, they even do the charging stations for car. So it's a very, very extensive product line, which sometime in 2021, the Biden Association will be introducing all of you into our ability and products. What we're going to talk about today, or we're going to focus on today, is the fact that the quality of the buildings that you guys are building, the quality of job that you're doing is of course entrapping the air and the pollutants within the air, whether it be in your chemicals, within your basement, your bathrooms, your car pulling into the garage. And of course, even when this study was done, you can see that people spend 90% of their time indoors. So probably now might be up to 98% of the time indoors, which really forces the fact that we need to be able to ventilate that air and keep people healthy within their own homes. Because as I said before, the homes are just getting tighter and tighter in the constructions. ASHRAE is the authority that's pushing through the laws that really warrant the health of the air within your home, the ability to circulate the air. I'm sure most of you are very familiar with it, if not all of you, but it really deals with the low-rise residential buildings. From time to time, I get engineers asking what the limitations are, and it's really based on that maximum of 3 to 4 story buildings where this ASHRAE applies. If you are not familiar with this calculation, this is their way of figuring out how many times the air has to be exchanged based on the square footage, the amount of bedrooms, and of course what the constant rate of CFMs that the house has to maintain in order to maintain that acceptable air quality. There are several ways of accomplishing this circulation of air. Depending on your inspector, depending on what he's used to, depending, of course, their interpretation of it. You can see based on the area that whether it's upstate New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, there's different ways of obtaining this constant exchange of air. But one of the methods that we promote is the fact that we do have multi-speed fans, one being the low-speed fan that you use that table that I showed you previously in the ASHRAE, and you set your low speed to the constant portion of the fan, which then turns into your constant circulating that air within that house. We also have acceptable or compatible switches like the smart exhaust switch that will do the cycling of it. That's used quite a bit in upstate New York, just because that's what they're used to. But we are changing them into the dual speed fans. And you've got all sorts of other ways, which I'm sure most of you guys are already using. But our fans are compatible. We do have a list of compatible options, but we'll talk a little bit further on the dual speed motors. We have been and will continue to support the Energy Star certification. We have been an Energy Star partner since 2016. We have 9 families of fans, so 55 of our fans are already Energy Star rated, and 26 fans, bathroom fan, utility fans, are most efficient for 2019, and we are also been recognized for 2020. So I'm sure you are all seeing this requirement more and more on the specification side. It's really under the note side or under the schedule side, but you'll see that it's more and more required on jobs, and we do have that certification as an Energy Star partner. As I said before, the Delta's really a DC fan manufacturer, and this is where Delta was designing their motors originally into the bathroom fan business. So all of our fans are DC. We know the benefits behind it, whether it's energy consumption or just the longevity of the motors, which are over 70,000 hours or 8 years worth of continuous running. Our motors, our overall assembly has a 3-year warranty. If you do have any kind of issues, it's just as simple as getting a hold of the person that you bought it from or sending an email to DeltaBreez help, and we will take care of any issues. But it is a 3-year warranty on all of the products that we sell. I'm sure that most of you have already been introduced into the DC motor end of the business. It is obviously a far more efficient, far more long-lasting application for this for the bathroom fan business. And of course, it requires us to be a DC fan or provide a DC fan in order to be part of that Energy Star requirement. In the back of our catalog, or you can go to our website, it gives you an introduction of how to look at your app or how to apply your DC motor fan, and of course the duration factor of it. So you can, do your own design build kind of application from the information provided in the catalog. Again, Energy Star Partner of the Year. It's really something that we're very proud of, and it's something that we will continue to support because it is a very green initiative, and all of our products are steering to that direction. Delta, again, just to remind you, this is not, Delta has been manufacturing DC bathroom fans for over 10 years. And this is just some of the acknowledgments that that Delta has received in the marketplace. We're very active in the engineer side. And of course, we're very active on the home remodeler side of the business. And our designs have been appreciated and have been recognized by various companies and awards. We are made up of 9 families of fans. We do have a slim line, which is where you can mount that into a 2x4 studded wall that goes from 50 to 100 CFM. And we also just came out with a slimline 80-110, which now will give you the ability to go from 80 CFM to 110 in the same fan. We have the Integrity, the Green Builder, which is a single speed fan, the Elite, which is a 2-speed fan, meaning an 80 and a 110. The Signature, which is our quietest fan, also has an 80 and a 110 feature are recessed. Our radiant, which is your heater built in, that's an 80 and a 110 CFM. The 110 CFM unit is available with an LED. The smart, which is a 130 to 150 CFM unit. And then you have your professional, which is a 200 to 300 CFM unit. This is exactly what I just talked to you before. This is really driven around 9 SKUs, 9 different types of family. The first family is the Signature Series, which is our quietest fan. It's 0.3 zones and below. It comes in 80 and 110 CFM, and you've got the ability to choose motion, humidity, LED, and if you've got somebody who actually wants to sing in their bathroom, you can even get one with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. Our fans do not come with the ability to add options onto it. The options are already built into the fan, and we'll go into that a little bit later. We also do have the ceiling radiation damper, and of course metal grill if the spec calls for it. The Smart Series is the 130 to 150 CFM unit, an LED, and also has a built-in motion adjustable humidity sensor. The Pro Series, which is for obviously for your bigger units, we don't have all the options. It's really just based on an exhaust fan, 200 to 300 CFM, 1 to 2 zones. The Elite Series, which is your kind of a step down from the Signature Series in a sense that it still gives you the 80 and 110 CFM, or give you the ability to cater it more to the bathroom. It is a little louder in a sense, from 0.5 to 0.7 zones. To keep the rating of zones in perspective, HVI, Heating Ventilation Institute, gives you a guidance of what a zone is. So if you are in an empty kitchen with a high efficiency or Energy Star rated refrigerator, that rating is usually around 0.7 zones. So while you may look at a 0.3 zone versus a 0.7 and look at a very large increase, you really have to, I think you have to keep it in perspective of what you're really talking about as far as actual noise. The Elite Series does give you the ability to have these fold out tabs. So when you're able to, a new construction that you're able to just bolt it or screw it right onto the beam, you're able to just take out these flaps and screw it right into position. Again, all your options are built in. So if you need motion, humidity, LED, you would order it as far as the in the catalog number. The Green Builder Series, a very, very popular, probably our best seller. It is a single speed fan. Again, the 0.8 to 1.4 zones, 80 to 100 CFMs. It's really one of our top selling units, easy to mount. You've got your mounting tabs here. You also have the rails. If you have a drop ceiling application, or if you just, the code calls for it to have a rail mounted, that is available. When you get into the integrity side, this is a little bit more competitive line. It does give you the single speed of 50, 80, and 100 CFMs, but again, it goes into the 0.7 to 1.5 zones. It does give you the ability to go into a flat panel. I don't know if you guys have seen it at your displays or showroom displays and lighting showrooms, or even on the electrical side or HVAC side displays. Your wholesalers, we do have, it's a very, very unique, a very popular model. It has a flat screen, in a sense, LED panel that's 3000 kelvins, and it's 100 CFM. We also do have one that's round in the same design and it's really meant to either dress up the existing bathroom or complement or take over or the lighting on the smaller bathrooms. The slim line, again, the intent of this is to have it really mounted in a 2x4 wall. We do have it sometimes that people use it in the kitchen area, so that you don't have to have a ceiling radiation damper and you vent it out. right out the side of the wall. But it's really a very unique application. You'll see it sometimes on a 2x6 joist. You'll see the engineer specify this product. And again, we do have the Slim 80-110 now available, which also comes in dual speed, humidity, motion, and LED within that 4-inch can. Recessed. I don't know how often you guys see this application. We do see it in the hotels quite a bit, but it is available, and it's an 80 CFM unit with a built-in light, very popular on the bigger bathrooms that have sometimes several bathroom fans within it. This is usually mounted right above the tub. Again, the Radiant series, 80 to 110 CFM, LED built-in, fan heater. It has a built-in thermostat. Very, very popular units. If you've got the application for it. The ceiling radiation damper is available for all of our products, except obviously for the Radiant Heat unit. We do have it certified for UL 550, 555, and again, it's a UL listing of the CRD and the unit, so it's a compatibility issue that we maintain by keeping the UL listing with those fans. One of the units that we just did introduce was the Signature Series E-LED, which gives you the ability to now, perhaps in the bigger bathrooms, to complement the lighting again or take over the lighting on a specific area. You do have the choice of choosing the color of the 27 to 4 and 5,000 Kelvin. Still very, very quiet, 0.5 zones at 110 CFMs, and it's an edge light unit. The air is brought in through this frame here, so it's a very, very clean application. I'll show you how it looks like in the catalog in a couple of minutes. This is just a description of what I just talked about. It's really a very nice, clean way of maintaining that ceiling, less polluted with lighting and so forth. If you do have an application where you need to cross over, I would appreciate it if you send it over to Bivin Sales or to myself, and we will cross over. We do have a great deal of compatible fans with the Panasonic and Brougham Newtone. And to keep in perspective on who Delta is versus Panasonic and Brougham Newtone has been around forever under various names. Now they're one big happy name, but they are approximately a 58% market share with all their products, far more products than Panasonic and Delta have. Panasonic is about a 14% market shareholder, and Delta is about a 14% market shareholder. So we have a great deal of fans that are compatible. We have a great deal of fans that we can cross over if you've got that opportunity with the engineer from your Brougham and Panasonic specifications. If you look at, this is our latest catalog, but if you look at here, this is what that edge lit panel would look like in the bathroom. And of course, these are just the two catalogs that we do have available that represent our products. If you have any questions as far as application, as far as the issues in the field, as far as converting a particular line, or even have questions on compatibility of our fans or availability of our fans, we do have a full engineering staff that can handle it. It would go through, again, Bivin Sales and myself. We do have a lot of experience in dealing with any issues. But if you go into the DeltaBreez.com website, you can go into your BIM or Revit library. So if you are laying out a job that you need to make sure that you are using your AutoCAD program, those drawings are available within our website. Sales support, self-explanatory. I mean, realistically, again, please reach out to Bybin or myself. Our sales support is handled out of Fremont, California. So we are faced with time and time again with people calling into Fremont, California with a 3-hour delay. We do pride ourselves in returning every phone call, every issue, dealing with whatever the question is arise, dealing with a potential solution. So please do reach out to us with any opportunities or questions you may have. And that's really the extent of the product line. I would just, again, I would really stress to you the importance of reaching out, whether it's in an email to either Bybin Sales or myself. We can help you with any kind of product conversion, any product questions that you may have, or any product issues that you may have. And again, thank you, Sarah, and thank you, Gene Bybin, for inviting us and putting this together. So
thank you, Rafael. This was some great information. We greatly appreciate your time. We'll give it a couple minutes here. If anyone has any questions for Rafael, please go ahead and put them in the chat. Excuse me. We will be sending out an email to everyone with information on who to contact from Bybin, as well as the presentation thereafter. So don't worry, if you have any other questions, you can certainly follow up with the team at Bybin Sales. So with that, are there any questions from the group?
Don't see any in the chat right now. If you have any questions, last minute questions, feel free to throw them in the chat.
Just that perfect, Rafael. You just covered every single piece. You answered all questions.
I think we needed a shot of a shot of espresso to get everybody going, right?
So Sarah, no questions in the chat.
Okay. Well, listen, we're going to conclude this morning's event. Again, thank you, Rafael, for some wonderful information. We greatly appreciate your time. And to the Bybin sales team, again, thank you all very much for bringing this opportunity to the association. So with that, I wish you all a wonderful day. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a great day.
You too, Rafael. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.